Yo, what's poppin', mga technologies? And today I am here to bring you guys. Uh, this is going to be an output of the third activity for the Criztian Tuplano front-end web development bootcamp. So today we have, a little bit HTML, some CSS. So this is actually you know, a 2-week bootcamp, and this is the second week. It's the first day of the second week, and we're going over CSS. So, mga technologies, we're just gonna attempt to explain this since that was my task. My task is to, you know, record a video explaining, I'm not sure if I'm saying this correctly, but HTML, headings, ID, and HTML headings, class, and then you have to define the class. For example, we have group. Yeah. So you can see later on what this looks like. Actually, it looks like this because I centered it. If I didn't center it, it would look like the text would be around here. And I figured I would use uh, the BR tag in order to have some spaces and make the thing not as crowded as it normally would without the BR tag. So without the BR tag, for example, micro Mars would be like here, right? And then human slasher villains deathmatch would just be straight up here. There would be no spaces and it would look ugly. Thanks to the BR tag, there's a break line, which is amazing. I actually only discovered about the BR tag when I talked to one of my colleagues that was a merge stack developer, and it's actually pretty good. Like he helps me out a bit with CSS along the way. He gives me suggestions to watch Kevin Powell and along with other tutorials and resources. I probably should watch Kevin Powell, but then I saw the tutorial was 7 years ago. But the thing about that is that CSS doesn't change that much. I guess like the only update that CSS does is sometimes the tags don't work as they used to. Like a tag doesn't prioritize something like it used to. That was like one of the issues earlier in the bootcamp, but that's not the topic of this video. So this looks a bit weird. So normally if you want to check your HTML and your CSS, you would just like click it, right? Or you would just go on live server and like check it. But thanks to this extension, uh, I think it's called Live Container. Oh, no, it's Live Preview. It's by Microsoft as well. Fun fact, VS Code is made by Microsoft. So you could just like have this be previewed. Doesn't work on CSS because CSS is, not gonna be previewed by browser, but whatever. So yeah, you could just see it here. But I would prefer looking at it in the browser because, live server. Sometimes the behavior here is not properly, being shown. This is like the Word format of your document, and this is the PDF format of your document. Yeah. So, but this is really good if you're just coding and you want to see what it looks like. Yeah. For example, if you like change the color here, it will reflect here. I'm not gonna do that because, my brain is kind of fried. 'Cause this concept is out of this world. Let me tell you right now, this concept is actually not in YouTube. Like normally you watch HTML, CSS in YouTube tutorials, right, in order to learn. Or you read W3 schools. This is not even in W3 schools. Yeah, or at least it's not properly described in W3 schools. Hang on, before we proceed, let's just do this real quick because it's a bit annoying. And then let's just, make this a bit smaller. That way you can see my HTML. Now, some people like to use, where is it? It's called word wrap, but it's not here. And whatever. Maybe it's an extension. I don't really care. Oh, I added a README to this docs as well. So this is basically like a guide explanation. I might just copy paste this on the description. No, I won't. It's way too long. But you could just read it. Yeah, I also have the GitHub repo over here. The GitHub repo is over here. So if you want to read it, I will link the GitHub repo in the description anyway. Yeah. So this is like my interpretation. I'm not actually sure if it's correct or not, but we'll get to it later. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah. So this concept, I'm not even sure what it's called. I'm just gonna call it the HTML heading ID and HTML heading center, featuring the class name, which ironically in this case is actually class in my example, reference in CSS colors or CSS styling. It's like one of those, like I said, I'm not even sure if it's correct because look, I even pointed out that I'm not sure if that's what you call these concepts. Since I can't find it on the internet, the best I found is a Dani Crossing video, I think from 6 years ago, and it explained HTML ID and HTML class. The dude literally did something like this, bro. Like he didn't even explain it properly. Now I love Dani Crossing. His PHP tutorial is pretty good. I wish he would continue his Laravel one, but he's kind of busy. So he did something like this, and then he just like wrote this stuff, right? And then he just did like ID class, and it's like, bro, that's not even what I'm looking for, nor did you do it properly. Apparently, my instructor Christian, which is also my colleague from a previous gig that I was doing, because I'm presently doing freelance project management for a small team of developers. We have Stack, we have Laravel, we have Flutter, and we have React Native. So if you want affordable business solutions, I don't care if you're Filipino, international, Australian, American, Canadian, I don't care. As long as you provide good communication and you're willing to hop on the discovery call with my team, we will arrange it. I will make a contract for you and we will update you every single feature along the way. So just hit me up, uh, yeah, hit me up as well Rex Binaclero on, yeah, as well Rex Binaclero on LinkedIn. Yeah, you could just hit me up. You could just add me as well Binaclero on Facebook. Yeah. Shameless plug. If you want affordable mobile and web development solutions or business solutions, whatever, it's the same thing. Anyway, back to the code. So yeah, that was a major headache, and actually I was expecting this to take me up until 2 a.m. But what ended up happening is that I was able to do it in 2 hours, and then I run into some technical difficulties. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just electricity. Maybe electricity provider is kind of wilding a bit. Maybe that's it. Yeah, anyway, that's not really the concern. The concern is the code. So I recently only found out about Breakline. Told it's from one of my friend. I told you guys that previously, so we're just gonna move on. So my interpretation of this is that this is called HTML headings, right? So you see, I have align center because I don't want it to, be over here. And if it's center, it looks good. Granted, it lacks styling. It's only, the words have color. But that's like the only purpose of this activity is excuse me, to have me be able to explain it in my own terms and my own words without like looking at a guide. Because apparently this is something that people in production don't actually use. Like they don't use like you know HTML class, HTML ID, and they don't reference it in the CSS. And they don't even do it in body tag. Some people do it in head tag. Actually, excuse me. Uh, People often do it in the body tag, which is what I'm doing right now. But Christian told me to do it in head tag. So actually, no, 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 no. I'm actually doing it in head tag because if I'm doing it in body tag, it would look like this. Yeah, yeah, that's what it would look like. So apparently, this is actually more efficient to do this inside the head tag because if you're declaring like like jQuery bootstrap, you're linking it according to my instructor. It's gonna be inside the body tag and it's gonna be really, really hard to debug. I mean, I could kind of see. Anyway, I could kind of see what he's trying to say there. Uh, anyway, so yeah, HTML heading, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5. Yeah, we have center, whatever. Line it, and then this is going to be used in order to define a class. So in Java, we have everything is a class, right? And then we could just like have objects inside the class. For example, like public class, and then it's like dog. Here we have H1 class, and then it's group. So I made this example is about horror villains because I'm a big fan of horror. So if you wanna talk to me about horror, I will for sure, you know, give you a very heated discussion. Maybe just like a decent friendly one as well. And we could debate as well. I need to rewatch and do a bit more research because some of the comic books are not canon and people often bring that up for power scaling. Yeah, anyway, so supernatural horror villains deathmatch. So this one is supernatural horror villains deathmatch, and this one is human slasher villains deathmatch. As you can see, we have Roman Bridger from Scream 3. The guy's pretty much the GOAT next to Mickey, the consensus. People say Stu is also the GOAT. Mm, I feel like Stu is a bit overrated. The actor is not, but the character in Scream for me is. And then we have Jack Torrance from The Shining. Masterpiece of a movie, very long, very scary if you consider it from a tension building standpoint. Yeah, just scratch my nose. I'm sorry, it's itchy. Uh, anyway, so yeah, H1, that's a HTML header, and then you have the group as the class that defines it. It doesn't matter if it's ID or class, but we'll discuss later what's the difference between these two, between class and ID. I'm sorry if I'm scratching my face. I don't know, it's like randomly itchy while I'm recording. How long has this been going? 11 minutes. Actually been going for shorter than I thought. So here we have Jason Voorhees versus Michael Myers. So I actually put comments on who like wins and loses this. So Jason wins. He's more durable. And short explanation of this, you can talk to me more about it if you want to know more on why Jason beats Michael. But Jason has more beats. Like Jason is more durable. In part 9, he literally got nuked by a bomb. So not nuked, he got exploded by a bomb, and his entire body like dis dislocated from itself. Normally your body is like whole, right? Like your body is composed of like separate body parts, but it's like stick together. But when Jason got blown up, every single one of his body parts uh just scattered all around like Camp Crystal Lake, and then his heart was like there, and then some person ate it, and then it began like a coincidental cycle in order to bring him back. And then there was like a lame ass book. It's not the Necronomicon, but in a Freddy versus Jason versus Ash Williams comic, it was later revealed on that say Jason is a Deadite. Yeah, he's a Deadite, and apparently uh, he can be killed or like temporarily stopped if you use the Necronomicon to seal him. And there was even a sequel to this. I think it's a sequel, correct me if I'm wrong. But Freddy consumes a Necronomicon and it becomes like outer bursal level. Is that what you call it? When you're like above the world. So that's like really OP. And he like transcends the Necronomicon. So he like beats up like demigods. Like he could beat up the demigods that were like being controlled or like contained in the Necronomicon. So that's really insane. But that's very non-canon. Anyway, back to like, the code. So Michael, in H2O, he had to crush a paramedic's voice box in order to swap his body from being decapitated by Laurie Strode. So if you are scared of being decapitated, and we have someone that literally, like, his entire body went back together, like, good as new. Like, I'm talking if you got chopped up. Like, if you're like a pig and you got chopped up, your head got chopped up, your legs got chopped up, your belly got chopped up. But let's say, like, after an hour and 20 minutes, your entire body is back to normal, then you are supernatural. And that's what Jason is. Also, Jason died. He got killed in the head. He got killed by a head wound, but it wasn't actually shown if he was decapitated. It's more like to this part. He got axed with a machete by your boy Tommy Jarvis, played by Corey Feldman. I wonder how that guy's doing. Yeah. So yeah, he got fatally wounded and then he died. Iconic die scene. Pretty iconic. You can check it out on YouTube. Uh, and then he got brought back by, you guessed it, lightning. Lightning, bro. Out of all things. Of course it was lightning. Uh, did I like okay, let me just like move this back a bit since I'm very, very paranoid. Let's check. Okay, this worked. Uh, I wanted to, be not perfect, but I wanted to work because it took me a long time and my brain is literally hurting right now. Or maybe I just have a headache. But yeah, if you can rebuild your body from scratch after it got torn apart and exploded by a bomb, and you have somebody that tactically avoided being decapitated, there's also a scene in Halloween 4 where he avoids fighting a mob when he could just kill them like he did in Halloween Kills. And in Halloween Kills, he was getting beaten up in the start, and then he decided to put on his mask back and then kill all of them. So that was epic, but he could have just killed all of them at the start. I guess it's to build tension, but Jason just has more supernatural beats. Also, Jason can teleport. I don't know if Michael can teleport. I think he could, but if he can't, then he's just very good at stalking. Okay, so here Michael Myers is definitely losing. Now I'm a Michael fanboy, but I can't be not objective here. Yeah. So in order to define your H1 tag, you just have to put a color, color command here. You could change this to medium blue. You could change it to anything actually. It doesn't matter. For example, we can change this to like medium red. Yeah, but I'm just gonna change it back to medium blue. Yeah, it won't matter. But if you want to override it like I did here, you could use this ID command. And essentially, based on my research, I'm not sure this is correct. You could correct me if I'm wrong. Please feel free to do so. Criticism is always welcome, especially if I'm someone that's not really um, that passionate about front end. It's like it's something I want to learn because I want to learn Tailwind and Bootstrap and be rather good at it and understand what's like going on like under the hood and how everything works in terms of concept. Because I don't want to like debug and take like 50 years because I don't understand how CSS works properly, which is what my instructor told me. Like the importance of these commands along with these commands is because most people don't understand how this works, so that's why they hate CSS. And most developers I've seen actually hate CSS. I've only talked to like two people that like CSS. One of them is a college instructor, so yeah, that's saying something. The other one is a merge stack developer, and that guy doesn't even use CSS anymore. He uses Tailwind. Now, Tailwind is indeed CSS, but it's a framework. Or is it library? I don't know. Uh, I don't know if it's a framework or library, but yeah. Because if you use Tailwind CSS, you could pretty much easily use Material UI, ShadGUN, and all the like modern, front end CSS libraries slash frameworks. Yeah, it'll be no biggie for you. So apparently, if you put ID in your HTML headings, it will prioritize. So normally it should be blue, right? So my H1 tag is Jason Voorhees, right? No, no, no. It's Jason Voorhees versus Michael, but you see it's like green instead of blue. So why is that? Because I have this. So you could put H1 in front of this, and you could put H2 over here, but it won't matter. It doesn't do anything. I'm gonna show you right now. And then we just like reload this. See, it doesn't do anything. So I'm not gonna do that because it looks ugly to me. Yeah. So essentially what this does is that if you put the hashtag and then you put like the class, which in this case is group 1. I am sorry, earlier I saw the class is actually called class. It's actually group 1 and group 2. Yeah, so this is just a bit confusing because everything is just nested together. But if you've seen the people in my bootcamp, some of them are really good. Some of them can nest like a div that's like this long. I don't even know how div and span work yet. That's how bad I am at CSS and HTML. But then like, I don't really enjoy this. I don't even like JavaScript. TypeScript, probably something I like. I'm more of a Java Spring Boot type of guy. I think I'm just gonna stick to making RESTful APIs in Spring Boot and ASP.NET Core, and then connect them with Angular or something. I've been avoiding React because something tells me it's not gonna be enjoyable. But hey, you never know till you try. Plus, I kind of need to learn React if I want a job. unless I work as a C# developer, and they're hiring for Angular. So essentially, what happens here is if you do hashtag along with whatever your class name is inside your HTML header class tag, what will happen here is, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly again, is that it will prioritize over the h1 tag. So that's good to know. And also, earlier I was trying to make this work, but apparently if you actually like, nothing changes because we're not using it anymore, but this doesn't work if you don't put a dot in front of it or a period. So that's pretty weird. That's why it wasn't working earlier, and that was why it was overwhelming for me because I was trying to follow along and it wasn't working when I was just like trying to understand what Christian was saying and what he was like coding. So it wasn't working for me. That's why I had to do the extra research. But I'm glad I took like 2 hours and 30 minutes to like research about this and make a detailed example. So this is literally just Poppins. It doesn't matter. Just go on Google Fonts, just embed, just copy, Poppins. That's literally all I did. So we have a little comment here. Hashtag group syntax plus whatever your code. Uh, wait, what is it saying? Whatever you code your headings tag, you know, class. Yeah, we're just gonna commit that later. Takes priority over regular h1 with colors because the computer interprets the hashtag syntax followed by whatever you name your tag to be prioritized in a simple h1 tags. Yep, that's my explanation for that. I'm not actually sure if that's correct, but yeah. See, okay, if you don't put the hashtag group syntax followed by whatever, um, yeah, per group to, no, let's change this because this is a bit confusing. Followed up by what you name your HTML heading class tag. We're gonna replace per group to, yeah. Then it won't, that's not correct grammar, sorry. Then, no. It's supposed to be, what is happening? Yeah, sorry. Then the computer will interpret the, H2 color over it. So what's essentially being said here is that H2 is gonna take priority, and if you don't want that, you could use the syntax. Hashtag whatever your HTML heading class tag is. I define it as group one. You could define this as whatever you want. You could do car, dog, and then you could name like, yeah, for example, Siamese, um, French bulldog. You could do whatever the heck you want. It doesn't matter. So yeah, here it actually overrides. This also overrides this. So this is essentially what you would want to do if you don't want to override your regular caller. So group two, what's happening here is that the reason I have this and along with ID is because what this is doing is that everything that is H2 is purple. And I don't want everything to be purple. I want winner and user to have a separate color. And then that's the same thing with group one. And then I want the title, which is, for example, this one, Jason Voorhees versus Michael Myers. And then this one, Roman Bridger versus Jack Torrance, along with the tag human slashes villains deathmatch and supernatural horror villains deathmatch to be different in terms of color. But what this does, we're gonna get rid of group 3 because it doesn't actually exist. Yeah. I was planning to make a group 3, but then I was like, this is good enough in terms of examples because I'm not trying to make my brain leave my body because at the rate that this is going, my brain is definitely gonna leave my body. So I think this is gonna be like around 30 minutes. We're almost done anyway. Yeah. And then I put like winner. This doesn't really deserve that much explanation. So essentially what I wanted to do here is that the winner for both group 1 and group 2 would be respectively brown. Not sure why it's showing a bit of a red shade even though it's called brown. I mean, we didn't end up using this. We just ended up overriding this later on. Yeah. I actually specified it, but it didn't work as well. So we're just gonna keep this for now. Uh, I should clean this up a bit more because this is still messy. Like there's some redundant stuff here. But the thing is, I don't want to remove anything because it might stop working. If it, what do they say? If it works, don't touch it. Yeah. So I'm gonna commit this later. I'm gonna fix this a little bit. I think this is just gonna be it. I don't really want to remove anything because I don't want to redo. And I have something to do tomorrow that's not tech related as well. So I would love to get this activity finished. Yeah. So yeah, loser is gonna be black. Winner is gonna be brown, and then we have the group two winner, which is going to be, Roman Bridger. Loser is gonna be Jack Torrance, Goldenrod, the Goldenrod City. Goldenrod is apparently a shade of yellow. Didn't know that. I just selected it because I have terrible color sense, which is one of the reasons why I don't really like designing, web design, and front end in general. Is because I don't really like, I don't like designing. I don't like ordering things around. I like the process of like making things work. So that's why back end is good because I like understanding how things work. My neck's a bit stiff, sorry. On the back end, under the hood, and that just seems more fun and it pays well. It pays more well actually than front end and web design. Because if you say web design, you could be talking about Figma and WordPress. Yeah, and front end is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Next.js. Some people use Next.js with an API, some people just go the whole thing. Because you could do Next front and back. Or you could use Angular and Vue, or you could use some weird ass framework like Sense.js or something. Mm. Oh, you could just be that guy that uses Bootstrap and jQuery and ship it out in like one day. You could probably do it. Uh, so yeah, what ended up happening is that you can see this group two, this loser, this winner, and this group two winner and loser all ended up getting overridden by these. Yeah, but you can still see some of them are still prevalent here. So I think that's gonna be for my it's gonna be it for my explanation. But you see that for example here, loser is actually completely overridden because only Michael Myers is black. How come Jack Torrance is not black? And what is this? Group 2 loser is Goldenrod. Jack Torrance is Goldenrod, I guess. So that's not overridden. So actually, sorry, Group 2 winner and Group 2 loser is not being overridden. The only one that's being overridden is the ID. This one and this one. And the H1 and H2 tags. So sorry about that. Actually, no, H2 is still here. Yeah, H1 medium blue. Yeah, still here. So the only one that's actually only being overridden, maybe it's because I lack sleep that I'm saying stuff that might be wrong. So you're gonna have to bear with me on that one. So the only ones that are being ridden are uh, this one. Yeah, along with this one. Uh, because the original color for H2, right, is what? Where's H2? Medium ultraviolet red. But you see that's not medium ultraviolet red. Instead, that is medium slate blue, which is a color I didn't know existed. So before I ended up, I might as well explain the horse stuff. So Roman Bridger is one of the consensus GOAT. I think Stu is overrated. The character that plays Stu, Matthew Lillard, is definitely not overrated. He has good roles. Shaggy, he kind of defines that role. I don't see anyone else playing Shaggy and doing it as well as he does. I mean, he is Shaggy. William Afton, his performance was okay. I think he tried his best given what he was working with, given what they gave him to work with. And Stu Macker, he's that character, bro. Like I don't see anyone else playing Stu Macker. There's theories that Stu Macker could potentially return in this Scream TV series. Now I don't watch the Scream TV series, and I'm not sure when it started. I think started after the latest Scream movie. which was not that good. Like Richie's family, like avenging him, not really, not really a fan. Oh, it's 30 minutes. It's about time to wrap this up. Let's make it 31, maybe 32. Anyway, yeah. And then there's Mickey. Mickey, I guess he tanked a lot when he was chasing people as Ghostface. And then Lancey Loomis is kind of like the puppeteer. He ended up double crossing Mickey because Mickey's reason doesn't hold up in court. He's like, I'm gonna blame the movies. Yeah, that doesn't work. Anyway, so Roman Bridger, is this actually his name? Not Bridget. Is this actually Roman Bridger? I'm pretty sure it's Roman Bridger. Yeah, it's Roman Bridger. Yeah, yeah, that guy. So he tanked multiple stomach wounds. I need to rewatch Game 3, but in my memory, from what I remember, he tanked multiple wounds right here on his stomach, and he only died after getting shot in the head. I mean, he has a bulletproof vest as well, so he's very tactful and he's very smart. While Jack Torrance is just some guy that went insane trying to write his book in the Overlook Hotel because that was his new job. He took that weird ass job even though the manager was being extremely creepy, manager being creepy AF, but he still took his family there, and then essentially the hotel itself was supernatural because after he died, he got put in the painting, and then you can see dead people on the halls. But there's theories that those are hallucinations, so we don't actually know if it's real. That's the beauty about The Shining. Uh, if I'm not mistaken, Stephen King wrote The Shining, right? Stephen King, The Shining. Yeah, he did, but it got directed by Stanley Kubrick, right? See, The Shining director. I'm pretty sure it's Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick is an amazing director. This guy is amazing. The amount of effort that Jack Nicholson, the actor that played Jack Torrance, and the actress is I don't remember her name, and The Shining, and I don't remember her real name, but they had to go through so many takes that they were considering quitting because Stanley Kubrick is a perfectionist. He wants to get the most of your emotions, and he wants the emotions to be perfectly aligned with the scenes. And today, that type of directing won't fly, but in 1980, it worked. And Jack Nicholson, I felt like it changed him a bit because after that, he played the Joker. And if you're aware of that one dude that committed suicide while he was playing Joker, because he couldn't take it anymore, he did a lot of method acting for Joker. Yeah, the Joker is that sort of character. You need to act and prepare yourself as the Joker in order to fully be able to utilize the Joker in terms of, playing him on the big screen on stage. He's that type of character, you know, like the psychology, like the mental space, and like the way that he thinks and the way that he acts is just absolutely insane. Like this man is definitely, like, he definitely is cuckoo gaga. Like he has something wrong in his head. So Jack Torrance is essentially just a normal guy, normal human that gets possessed by the Overlook's hotel's evil. He sees ghosts. I'm assuming those are ghosts. I'm not sure if this is hallucinations because Jack has been very stressed with writing and he just writes the same thing on his typewriter over and over again. And then he goes insane. He tries to kill, you know, Danny, his son, sees red rum, so that's kind of like a vision. So I guess that's The Shining, like the vision. Now, The Shining does have a sequel. It's not that great. It has things that tries to reimagine it, and in the end, Danny dies. So sorry for that, spoiler alert. Probably should have told you spoiler alert before I said it, but I already did. Yeah, I'm actually gonna close this now because we're almost done with the recording. So yeah, he gets possessed by the Overlook Hotel's evil. He sees spirits, which are, debatably hallucinations. And then what happens is that he tries to kill his child and his wife, but ends up chasing them, no, only his son, inside a maze, like the big overlook maze, and then he gets lost in it, and then the next day he gets frozen to death. Hypothermia, right? Just the worst case of hypothermia out there. Yeah. So Roman Bridger. if he's planning this, if he planned like the entire plan, if you watch Scream 2, you would see how insane his plan is and how it actually worked. Like people love to clown on Scream 2. They're like, "Oh, it's a bad movie. It doesn't make sense. It has plus equals." But when you see it over and over again, it will eventually grow on you. Let me just put this back. Uh, yeah, so by bullet wounds in the chest, and this is, I think he did it without the bulletproof vest on, but he did reveal to safety that he has the bulletproof vest on. I need to rewatch Scream 3. I feel like I'm butchering some of these facts. Yeah, The Shining, I watched it much more earlier. I think last year I rewatched it than Scream 3, which is something I watched when I was in high school, and I'm about to graduate college now. Yeah. So yeah, Roman Bridger could pretty much just outsmart Jack Torrance. Like he could just flan the entire thing. And the thing about Roman Bridger is that he's the only Scream. We have to give him props for this. We have to give him respect and major props for this. Ready? Ready? He's the only Ghostface, not Scream. Scream's the movie, and then it's inside a fictional franchise, which is Stab, which is supposed to be the Scream series, actually based on real life events being remade into movie form by staff. And apparently he's the director in the movie and director of the plan and he's trying to kill Sydney, which is the main protagonist of Scream. Unless you're talking about the last two movies, which we have a different girl. Yeah. And then you have her sister, which is the dude, excuse me, the girl that plays Wednesday in Netflix Wednesday. I think this is 35 minutes now. 36. Yeah. Yeah, so those are like the protagonists of the new Scream movies. But back to Roman. He is the only Ghostface that did alone. Every other Ghostface has an accomplice. For example, Mickey had Miss Loomis, not from Halloween, like a different Loomis. Or was that her name? Uh, yeah, let's see, Loomis. Scream 2. Is that her name? Yeah, Nancy Loomis. Yeah, see, even if I haven't seen this movie in so long, I still remember the names. And then there's Mickey Alteri. And then Stu Macker has, Billy Loomis. So, he's, you know, the mother of Billy Loomis trying to take revenge for him. So he's the only one that did it alone. He didn't have anybody. He, I don't know why he did it like that. Maybe that was a part of his plan. Maybe he thought it would be better like that, but we shall never know. Maybe the actor that played him, I mean, he also messed around Colin Weary. Like he knocked Colin Weary out. He beat him really badly and killed him. I mean, Colin Weary is a huge guy, very athletic, and could definitely defend himself, knows martial arts too. So that's a feat in itself. Jack is just normal and he's alcoholic. So if you're alcoholic, you're not thinking straight and your movements are sluggish. There's some people that do and say the most outrageous stuff when they're drunk. Like they're like horny, they're like faking a fight, they're doing all of this. So you're not your normal self, you know, when you're drinking drinking or under the influence of alcohol. So that's a disadvantage for him already. I think I've said enough into why Roman Bridger like wins. See, I didn't even put the description for Jack Torrance because this is literally all you have to know. Anyway, we're gonna commit the the edited parts of the comments. I'm gonna go over it a little bit more. Okay, this one's good. Mm. Okay, I think everything is good now, so we're just gonna end this video. So thank you so much for watching. I know it's been long because I've been rambling, but I'm trying to explain things to the best of my ability and relatively new to HTML CSS, even though I've created some projects. But those projects were kind of aided by me, like following a template, like a Figma template. But hey, we all gotta start somewhere, and this is finally me taking HTML CSS seriously, and I want to learn the concept seriously as well. So thank you so much. So mga ka-technologies, I'm gonna see you all next time. Bye-bye!